Another great weekend of footy. A few upsets as well, which is great. The listeners and our fans, they love seeing some upsets, not just the norm of, the favourites getting big wins all the time. But, great weekend of footy. And, boys, magic round weekend this weekend. I'm pumped. Everyone's pumped up here in Queensland.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, look, just to highlight, we did the ladder earlier today for Bailey Ladders. If you took the Broncos out, not that they're runaway leaders, but they're sitting on 14. So second, you are 12, and you go all the way down the ladder to, 11th? 11th is 2 points off second.
That's right.
Yeah, what a table. And Magic Round, we could end up with a four-way tie for the lead through 10 rounds. I mean, it's an extraordinary competition ladder. Cameron, but first up, we are so happy to have you on. Brandy and I have been talking about Josh Reynolds today on the program. Now, Josh Reynolds had a little run-in with referee Grant Atkins yesterday. Now, I am going to put you on the spot today. Mm-hmm. Lots of listeners out there.
Yep.
Cameron, it was observed by our listeners that over the years in your 1 million games that you played, you did often enter conversation with the referees.
Yeah, I had a few, Vossy.
Yeah. Did you ever use a naughty word?
No, I didn't. No.
Too smart.
Made a very conscious decision not to use any expletives because I know the referees, they don't particularly like when you're shouting, but if you use an expletive to describe their officiating, they don't particularly like that. And you don't get a great response, and therefore you don't tend to get a lot of 50-50s go your way for the remainder of the match. But I was watching that game yesterday, and Josh Reynolds, he got a little bit overheated, I guess, which he can do. It's the type of player he is, but there's a couple of things that you can't say to a referee.
Your thoughts?
What do you think should happen?
Does he have to be fined? Yeah. What should happen?
What happens? What happens with it? Anything or sufficiently handled with?
Yeah. Look, I think Grant Atkins did a great job. He jumped on it straight away and just said, "Mate, look, any more of that, then you're gone." And he actually said to I think he grabbed Reed Marnie. He said, "Mate, if he comes up to me again and says anything, he'll be sitting down." So I think he handled that well. I still remember. I'm guessing you guys remember when I was sin-binned at Shark Park by Matt Checken, and a lot of people said to me, "Geez, mate, what'd you say to him?" And I didn't say anything other than, well, I think it was the game where there was like 40 penalties blown. There was some sort of crackdown going on in the competition at that time, and I just said it was like the 30th penalty at that stage, and I just said, "Mate, you can't keep penalising all of us like it's ruining the game," and that's what I got put in the bin for. So. But a lot of people said, "Mate, what did you must have swore at him and called him a name or something." I was like, no, that's all I said. So he sat me down. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, Cameron, I'll ask you this question. I don't know whether you've ever been asked this. Would Cameron Smith have liked to be refereeing Cameron Smith? Do you think you were a pain in the ass at times?
Oh.
Hard question.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, it might have been a little bit frustrating at times. But, I think the approach I took was, hey, just be respectful. I may have spoken a little bit too much at times, but I was just out there trying to do my best for my team. That's all.
All right.
Yeah. But because you didn't raise your voice or swear, that made it easier to approach the referee.
I think so.
Absolutely. That's
Did
smart.
you call the referee sir or by their first name?
Oh, a little bit of both.
Bit of both.
I think it's polite to know who's refereeing your game and to know their name. And I think as Brandy said, if you go in there and converse with them in a respectful way, they don't mind. Like they don't necessarily want you to call them sir. If you use their first name politely, then it's okay.
I'm learning here. I'm trying to read between the lines of what you're saying here, because I reckon your modus operandi was to get in their heads. And part of that's respect. Cameron Smith, he's being polite. Oh, well, there you go. But then he's asking a lot of questions.
Psychological warfare.
Yes, that's right. Hannibal Lecter stuff, dare I say. Just go to an extreme.
Go to a new level.
Yes, I'm...
Cameron, do you like fava beans?
Yeah. I'm thinking today, and maybe it's not just today, might be over the month of May, we come up with the 10 commandments, Cameron Smith 10 commandments of handling referees, of dealing with the referees. And I reckon among them would be know the penalty count. Would you have often quoted the often
Yes.
quoted it's 6-1 the penalties.
Yep, I remember
3 times, all
Yep.
those sorts of things.
Yeah, Vossy clearly, that was always something that I kept an eye on and just had that in the back of my mind. So if it started to get the numbers started getting away from us, I just throw the numbers up and just remind the referee.
I thought you had a little notepad and pencil in like one of those inside pockets of the shorts there once. You were keeping a little tally there.
The reason for the Melbourne trainer was to keep Cam informed about what the penalty count was.
So we'll put one is always speak respectful. So that's the first
number one.
commandment.
That's at the top.
Is no expletives. So respectful is number one, and we say that seriously. But we can have a bit of fun with the other ones. So what are the 10 commandments? Cameron Smith's 10 commandments that were carved in stone.
We could knock out a little handbook here, couldn't we?
Yeah, a little handbook.
Produce a little handbook.
This is
just while Cam's thinking about that, Spanky says Tedesco should have been binned for his Radley defence. Question the ref's integrity. Remember last week, Anzac Day?
Oh, yes.
Clamp down on this crap before it gets out of hand. Now, did Tedesco fire anything at the referees, James Tedesco, last week when he did get sin bin? I know Trent Robinson had a
No, he did. No, James Tedesco did. No, Tedesco did.
Well, I think he mentioned
it's Radley.
Yes.
That you. Trent did as well in the post-match press conference.
That was a bit of a I guess people will be divided on that one and say, well, look, he did question the integrity of the ref, and others would say, well, he's just sort of stating what a lot of people think. But it's a borderline, that one. I don't think there's too much wrong with it, because in the end the referee just laughed it off and just said, no, mate, that anyone else that would do the same thing would happen.
Yep.
In the 10 commandments, Cameron, was it always compulsory to have a chat with the ref going to half-time, to just get in his ear going to half-time? You'd walk off with him and plant a few seeds? Was that in the 10 commandments?
No, it was just have a conversation. It wasn't necessarily planting seeds. It was more about, are you happy with our first half? What do you need us to do? Do you need me to chat to anyone at half-time?
Right, yeah. Sucking up.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Little conversation pre-game as well, Vossy, at the coin toss.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Pre-game, 10 commandments.
How's your week been?
Pre-game chat.
How's your week been?
Yeah, right. Butter up. Butter them up early. Butter them up. Okay, we'll put that in the 10 commandments. Butter them up pre-kickoff.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. We are going somewhere today.
I just got sent a little tab ticket here from one of our listeners, and he said, because I had a feeling that the Tigers, and I know when you're talking about your own teams, you get a little bit pessimistic sometimes, but when the Tigers scored early off the back of the Luke Brooks 40-20, it was hosing down in Bathurst. I, driving home from Wagga, said to my wife, Tanya, we're going to get beaten tonight. I don't want to listen to any more. So I turned the radio off. We got beaten, but tab ticket, $200 on the Tigers at $8.50, $1,700 late from one of our listeners.
Nice.
That's a good bet.
One of our
That
listeners.
is a
You don't
good
put your
bet.
name to it, just one of our listeners. Miles has got on the text in relation to your negotiation with referees. He says, I remember an NRL poll, referees were asked, who is the best captain to ref? And it was the GOAT, Cameron Smith. He says, referees stick together, I guess. So, was his deduction from that.
Come on, Miles.
There you go. Feather in your cap there, feather in your cap. The referees, I'm pretty sure I might have asked that of Matt Checken. I think he said that on camera, so it's not just an anonymous poll. I've heard referees say that. I think Gavin Badger might have said it, Cameron. You had the respect of the Badger.
There you go.
Yeah, the Badge said he loved refereeing you. Yep. So you definitely played the game.
A couple of the teams, apart from the Tigers' big win over Penrith, Smitty, the teams we've been talking about, disappointments from the weekend. The Dragons.
Yeah.
The Dragons, you would have to say, were great effort from the Dogs, undermanned, some players injured out there, and a great effort from them to win. But Dragons, very disappointing off the back of their Anzac Day performance. Yeah,
absolutely. And particularly playing at home, Brandy, you'd expect them to be up for that one, given they were, with all due respect, playing the Dogs. And as you mentioned, they've got a huge list of personnel still out at the moment. So, for a team that is in the position they're in right now, where there's so much, I guess, spotlight and and scrutiny on their footy club, and particularly the coach, the future of the coach, I was a little bit surprised with the lack of performance in that game. Although the Dogs did some wonderful stuff yesterday. Really impressed with a couple of their younger players. Yeah, it's sometimes you sort of sit there and think like, what are they actually thinking out here? Like, where's the effort for the club and for the coach?
Yep. Poor conditions over there in New Zealand for the Warriors-Roosters game.
Yeah.
Warriors had, I reckon they probably had 5 or 6 genuine chances to score tries. But, Roosters were able to close them down and shut them down. No points at all.
Yeah.
Tough conditions to score points, isn't it? And it's effort areas that normally dominate those sort of fixtures.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's good signs for the Roosters. I think that's an area that they haven't been quite on top of their game of late, which is their defence. So to shut out the Warriors, who have been attacking quite well over the last sort of 3 to 4 weeks, was impressive. But that's another team with a lot of their star players out and guys that make a huge difference to it, particularly their attack.